Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I now like to yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Meeks.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask requests and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
I'm excited about being here, and I want to thank the gentle lady for extending, but I'm going to put my prepared notes to the side here because I don't think that's needed at this point, because we're well into debate now, Mr. Speaker, on this very issue of Iraq. And I would like to disclose to the House that, I'm not a member of the armed services. I never served in the forward area. I wasn't even a member of the ROTC, but I am a member of the U.S. Congress, and I have been federalized to come here to represent my constituents and the people of this great country. I know sometimes we say some things on the floor that we really don't mean, and then there's some things that we do really mean. I had the opportunity to go to the White House today to speak to the President on this very issue, and I shared with him and delivered the message from majority of the members of this House of Representatives on a bipartisan basis, Democrats and Republicans, that have come to this floor and said that they're going to vote an affirmative on this resolution because they don't believe in the escalation of troops. And a supermajority of the members of the House have not served in the military. Now, do we respect and honor those that allow us still to salute one flag? You're 110% right as it relates to my feelings towards that. And I respect those members who have been in the ROTC and came up through college or what have you and joined the reserves and active duty. I trust their judgment. They have the right to say what they want to say when they want to say it. But I shared with the President that this will pass, and he shook his head and said, I believe it will pass too, Kendrick. And I said, well, Mr. President, here's something else that we have to come together on, and there has to be some level of compromise. Yes, this is a non-binding resolution, but this is the first time that the President has ever had any pressure from the Congress on his original thoughts and what he says military commanders call for. Now, since, folks have been talking about who they are here on this floor and what they've done and chest beating and all, I've been a member of the Armed Services Committee. I'm a member of the Ways and Means Committee now and still on Armed Services on a waiver. I said I wanted to go back to Armed Services because we're at war and that we have to make sense here in this House. We just can't say, we're there and we got to stay there as long as we got to stay there until the last insurgent says that they give up. Well, guess what? They're not going to give up. They're not going to give up, and they're not going to say, well, we're leaving. They're not going to say that. So if our mission is to stay there as long as the last insurgent is there, and so someone would not be looking at troops leaving on the plane saying we won, if that's the issue, then we have to readjust our thinking here. Let me just share something with you. I said to the President, yes, this is non-binding, but it means a lot. It sends a message to the country that we heard them last November. You know the reason why this House is in the majority for the Democrats this time? You know why? Because the rubber-stamped Republican Congress rubber-stamped everything that the President sent to this House and to the Senate. And, if this was about politics, I would just go home and sit and watch this debate on television and talk to my wife and tell my wife, guess what, sweetheart, the Democrats are about to gain a greater majority because American people are going to continue to, on a bipartisan way, not just Democrats, Republicans, independents, those that never voted before will start voting because they think that we're not listening. Now, I'm going to share this also with you, what's very, very important. I said, Mr. President, it's non-binding, but you're going to have a supplemental that's going to come through. And there has to be language in there that speaks to the point of readiness, speaks to the point of the fact that if you're going to say we're going to send 20,000 combat troops and 4 or 3,000 support personnel, that they have what they need to carry out the mission. President heard what I had to say, came right back and said, Kendrick, do you believe for a minute that I would put troops in harm's way if the military commanders did not tell us what we had? Respectfully, I told the President, it has happened before. I've sat next to Mr. Ryan in the Armed Services Committee and watched 4-star generals say, do you have what you have? Yes, we have it. And then we went to Iraq twice. Not once. Not when somebody told me that got off the plane and came back from Iraq and said, Kendrick, guess what? In Mosul, in Baghdad, folks getting ready to go out on patrol that did not have up-armored vehicles, and I'm a member of Congress. You would think that someone would bring up-armored vehicles out because they have members of Congress there, and people are there saying, and the troops are there saying, soldiers in the field, 18 months on the second deployment, saying, Congressman, I know, you think, but let me tell you something. We don't have what we need. And they still don't have what they need. Can I have another minute, please?
Yes, yield the gentleman another minute.
The chair recognizes the gentleman for an additional minute.
They still don't have what they need. So I come to this floor, yes, with great passion. I wasn't a member of the military, but doggone it, I'm a member of Congress. And I'm not going to let any member of Congress make me believe, or any other member believe, that they're less of a member because they don't have the credentials that the next person has. What I do know, that someone woke up early Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. to vote for representation in this U.S. House of Representatives, and doggone it, they're going to get it. And those troops are going to get it. So come tomorrow, it's going to be judgment time. Either you're with going in the old direction or in the new direction. And the only reason that I have comfort, Mr. Speaker, tonight is the fact that I know that there's going to be a bipartisan vote on that board. Just like it was on the minimum wage, just like it was as it relates to prescription drugs, just like it was in cutting back the interest rate on student loans, all of these bipartisan votes, and this is going to fall in the number of those bipartisan votes, and I know that we're going to start having the kind of oversight that we have to have on this war. I don't believe that it will be a full pull-out of troops, and I'm not even looking for that. But I am looking for management of this war in Iraq. And I'm glad that we're having this debate, and I yield back the seconds that I may have left. Thank you.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes the gentlelady from California.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now like to yield 5 minutes to the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Wasserman Schultz.
The chair recognizes the gentlelady from Florida.